Okay, folks, welcome back. Back on the attack. All right. So last night we were working on this. Whoa. Coulon miniatures. Penzer 3H. So that's what we're going to go back to. Now that the tracks are completely dry, we can come and add a little bit of dry brushing that you don't want to push the envelope on. Because the paint was a little wet. Dry brushing does not go on well if the paint underneath is wet. There we go. Looking pretty good. But it is a 74-step process. Now, it's not 74, but it is 20 or so steps. Most of which are pleasant. Most of which are pleasant. Let's go ahead and get the metallic bits done. Have we blacklined this thing or not? Yes. Yes, doesn't mean it can't use more. That's why it's always nice to have one vehicle you can compare it to, because if you're like really happy with that, like, are they, have we done enough? Are they equivalent? Do they look like they were serving together? Good morning. Well, that was a nice surprise. That was. Sounds like you had a good time. He had some really nice things to say, which, it's kind of awkward because it's like, dude, you're the one that needs the praise. But hey, it is a teamwork. You know, it's a pleasure to paint things by somebody who has so much passion in making the models. Um, I mean, what can I say other than that? I see his stuff. I saw his things many years ago. Not many years ago, a couple of years ago, and I'm like, I don't know, who the heck can make these? I can't believe the amount of detail that's on this thing. And it wasn't until I think I went to his site, his page, his Facebook page, and found out about Chad, because everybody else was like, yeah, we print resin, and they were in Europe, and the shipping is just like ridiculous. Because especially on a first order, I'm not going to order. I'm leery of ordering a lot of money of stuff for the first time. Even with Chad, I have no issues with. I'm never going to put a $500 order in with Chad. I don't want to sit on $500 and like have nothing, and then bam, have $500 worth of stuff, and then have too many things and I can't think. You know, I'll get into analysis paralysis, and I don't want to do that. I want to paint the things that I ordered. So yeah, that was unexpected. That was really unexpected, but that'd be like Michael Jordan showing up and thanking you for wearing his jersey. Well, we're doing a little bit more than just wearing a jersey, but you know, when I see somebody like that, somebody on that type of level, and they might actually say something along the lines of, somebody like that may actually say something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm glad you like my stuff. What do you want me to work on next?" My response would be, "Whatever your heart desires, so you don't get burned out. Just keep making stuff for us." Because, we're pretty much interested in everything. Everything's important. Everything is interesting. And it's nice that he does a thorough job. He's like, "Well, we're going to do Panzer threes. Which ones are you doing? All of them? Okay, cool. That works." I agree. I was blown away. The Grant tank detail, but hearing that it is one of his obsessions makes sense. Good morning, Justin. Welcome back, man. I'll have to make time to watch your videos today. I didn't. I literally crashed after painting, which is, my wife always says, like, how do you fall asleep so soon? I said, well, I go to bed when I can't take it anymore. I just can't stand being awake anymore. All right, we'll go to sleep. You know. Never had a dream about tanks before. I don't think so, anyways. My only hope is that he makes more things, that Chad stays in business, that things go well for him, that it makes sense for him to make things. That's it. That's all I ask. We're going to need you guys to stick around, man. We got big plans for. All good, no rush. I know, that's why you wake up early, right? So you're not like rushed to go to work. Lots of people can't believe why I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. I said, well, I got to wake up at 5 to have breakfast and not be rushed. And then I got to keep doing it every day so I don't feel like I'm getting screwed Monday through Friday. It's that simple. That's it. You know, if you're like, well, I'm going to wake up whenever on the weekend, then you have to retrain yourself every week. That's just stupid. Now, the question is, if I was single, would I still do it? And I have to think I would. But you never know. Okay, well, his pad on the inside of the Panzer III, I was not expecting that. It's like this big and then gets smaller. So is all of that a cushion? We better find that out before we make a decision. Have to fix something. So let's see if we can do Panzer III turret hatch. Commander's hatch. Images. Well, that doesn't solve the problem. And I went on here and there was a live video going on from the tank museum. Like, damn, bad timing. But then people were like typing things on top of each other. And I'm like, oh, I'll just watch this later. I got my own video to watch. Commander's hatch inside. Wow, why am I having so much trouble finding this? All right. Scale mates. Panzer III. Scale mates is hard to find Panzer III stuff because they want to put Panzerkampfwagen, but then they want to put the dot between the PZ and then the KW, and it just, like, it's just difficult to find some of that stuff that's normally wouldn't be so difficult to find. I'm looking for a model of it. Here's one of a J in 1/16 scale. Well, that's big. Show me the instructions. And hopefully they're in color. They are. Looks like it's only the center cushion. I was just distracted by some of these paint schemes. And I always like to compare what I know if it matches the stuff that I've seen. And here they have one for the 15th Panzer Division, Panzer Regiment 8. It says Libya, November, December 1941. And it's Company 7. And Company 7 is the one that's not in, that arrives late. And it did have the J's. So that checks out. It had the J's with the short barrel. Okay. Yeah, I'm not doing the numbers with the white around them because the white has to be really small or it makes it look like at a distance. Is it red or is it white? So I'm just going to go with the straight red numbers. And I think they turned out really well. Besides, I'm only going to get better at that if I do it. So, okay, so let's paint the little the center bump thing here. And I think it's time for drippings. Let's put... Yeah, let's go ahead and do the drippings. We have the same wish on Chad Ron. I'm only good for about $200 a year. There you go. I mean, that keeps us busy, you know? More isn't better. There's this guy that has, and I really haven't watched his videos. I subscribe to his channel, but he does all these unboxings all the times about 500 pounds off of eBay or whatever, and like all these models. And I'm like, dude, you're like doing this every week. Like, you know, enjoy what you have. I can't paint faster than that, especially with all the other terrain and figures. No kidding. There's a really cool fort in the Upper Peninsula in Copper Harbor called Fort Wilkins. Going there when the weather breaks. Are those forts from the War of 1812? I would imagine so. It's got to be either that or French Indian War. And I don't think the French Indian War was that far into Michigan. There's a war people don't know much about the War of 1812. I don't really blame them. I mean, it's like, I can't know about everything. I came across we took a trip several years ago to Brunswick, Georgia, which is in the swampy land just north of Jacksonville. not far from the Florida border. And off the coast, it's kind of an old port town looking place. And actually, if you could kind of discount the fact that the industrial looking decrepitness of some of it, it's actually a pretty cool little town. Went to a speakeasy there, and it was kind of cool. And we had a long weekend that we spent there, and 3-4 years ago, something like that. And looking for Mr. Beige Brown. And off the coast of Brunswick, there's this island called St. Simon's Island, which I'd heard about as being some kind of like Hilton Head or something like that, something fancy, right? Civil War, huh? Interesting. And on St. Simon's Island, there was a fort. On the northern end that the British had built in the early 1700s as a base to use. I mean, they used it for different things, but one of the reasons for having it is an interdiction point for the Spanish gold coming from Florida. Something I didn't know. And because it's not my period, and I don't know everything. And there's this battlefield there called Battle of the Swamp something or another, some kind of a swamp battle. And it was a battle that took place. You're talking about a couple hundred guys. You're not talking about a big battle, but the Spanish got tired of it and went and tried to take it or do something, and they crossed swampy field or something like that. I'll look it up in a second. And there's a little plaque. There's actually a place you can go there, and it has like drawings of the forces, and like it almost has like some osprey like plates where you could tell what people wore and stuff like that. It's during the War of Austrian Succession. So 1740s, something like that. And the Spanish got tired of it, sent some troops up there, and they got ambushed at this place. Because they're trying to cross like this swampy ground that has like tall grass in it, and like there's like nowhere to hide, and the British had laid an ambush for them, and even though the British were outnumbered quite a bit, they trashed them. And it was interesting because it had some of the troops that were there were like Cuban grenadiers and some black troops, and just a motley mix of the Spanish had a motley mix of troops, and so did the British, because they had some guys that had kilts on and stuff too. So something I just never heard of before. Fort Frederica is the name of the fort that was there. A map guy. I find it quicker on the map. Brunswick, here's St. Simon's Island. And the battle is in here somewhere. Yeah, you're crossing shit that looks like that. Just muck. See, that's the road that goes out there. The battlefield is in here somewhere, in like this neighborhood. That's Frederica Park. No, it's south of that. All right, we'll search this area for battle. Bloody Marsh. Yeah, so they're trying to cross shit like this. Yeah, here you go. Let me turn this. Let's see if it comes out a little bit. Battle of Bloody Marsh. And there's some Highlanders there, or something. Guys with the socks. Situated along the military road, this marsh was the perfect spot for an ambush. On the afternoon of July 7th, 1742, the British had their chance to surprise attack the Spanish here and win a decisive victory. At 3 p.m., Spanish reinforcements marched towards Fort Frederica, unaware of British troops hidden in the woods near the swamp. As the Cuban grenadiers, Spain's best, trampled single file along the narrow causeway, the Scottish Highlanders opened fire. Trapped, the Spanish retreated south to Fort St. Simons. The fight lasted only 1 hour. Witnesses claim when the shooting stopped, the marsh was red with the blood of the wounded and dead. That would be a challenge to paint them little. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to battle with them sissy socks on. Well, they made it. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is like the. This is one of the displays they have there on the site. Really cool shit. So that, of course, I'm there like, okay, who makes figures for this? Not that I was going to, but it kind of puts it into perspective. Within a week after the crushing defeat here, the Spanish evacuated St. Simon's Island forever, ending Spain's claim to Georgia. Yeah, this is and there's a little placard of that as well. So here you got the Cuban Grenadiers being led by a couple natives. Like, hey, send those guys first. Although, it's kind of hard for those 2 guys to be killed and not the first 3 guys to be killed as well. Yeah, here's another picture of that. Yeah, you pretty much got nowhere to go. You got to play dead in the tall grass. If you went to that fort, put some pictures on your post. God, I want to say I did. I want to have pictures of that, but man, that was several years ago. Anyways, it was cool. It was cool to something I don't know about. But I did do several videos, including the one which nobody has watched yet, or nobody has liked yet. I really did it for my mom because she didn't get to go with us to Spain. But the stuff in Spain just pretty much and Europe blows everything away here. Like, I love this country, but our history is just uninteresting compared to Europe. I mean, it's just like, it's absurd. The oldest thing here is like, the fort that's in St. Augustine. Okay, well, it was built in the 1670s. That's modern history in Spain, right? Like, there's stuff that's like 1,000 years older than that, and it's standing. Sort of. It depends how many times they fought over it, but. So I went to several places, one of them including this big, huge fort castle in Segovia, and did a whole walkthrough video on it with pictures and everything. So I've got a couple more to do, but I'm there. I might as well film it. I might as well upload it to my YouTube channel. Of course, there's a lot of editing involved, even with it not having any commentary, because I pretty much have no commentary through it because there's like other people on the fort, and I'm not like an expert of that fort or anything. It's different than when I went and did the walkthrough with the Camp Blanding with World War II tanks, and I was narrating what the tanks were, and then there was a dad and his son that came by, and we talked for a bit. At least know what I'm talking about tanks. Like I'm not a you know I'm not an expert on those things. So, but there is some absolutely cool shit. Just unbelievable stuff. And I just feel like we just touched the tip of the iceberg. But taking the girls to a battlefield is that's a bit much, because the thing about a battlefield is, even if you're interested in the history, what you see there is not what was there. Even a place like Gettysburg, the thing I disliked the most about Gettysburg was that there were some cool parts to it. Even though I don't like the Civil War at all, I'm not interested in the least bit. There's trees and stuff that are there that weren't before, so you don't even you have to like, okay, like pretend that's not there and pretend that is there, and just to kind of you know was history your favorite class as a kid? Yeah, that and geography. Although I didn't have a geography class until college. I took it as an elective class, and this guy basically gave us like these maps. It'd be like a map of South America without any lines on it, right? Just the outline of South America. Okay, draw the Andes. You get your colors. Draw, where Venezuela is, and the rivers and all that kind of shit. And that's like, my dad gave me a globe for my birthday. One of those ones that had like you could feel the mountains on it. It was about this big. And I knew that thing backwards and forwards. Hey, there was no TikTok, no YouTube, no internet. I've always liked geography. I think geography is a lot more important for people than history. Because that's like stuff that you use all the time. Like whether you're looking at the weather and shit like that. But yeah, that was pretty much the only class I liked in school. And if they got on some subject I really was interested in, I hated it because it didn't give me enough detail. Now, the thing I disliked about history is it always involved writing papers, which are one of the things, other than diagramming sentences and the quadratic formula, probably the things I dislike the most in school is writing papers. Not because of finding the information out, but actually like having to put it in an understandable way. I just didn't have proper training. I like taking notes, and I take pretty good notes, but I'm writing it in bullet points. I'm not writing it in, all these sentences. And like, all right, wait, hold on a second. This last sentence, I started it with an I, so I can't start that one with an I either. Otherwise, it just sounds stupid. And just things like that. So I don't mind looking things up. I don't mind learning things. I just don't like the having to put it in a paper format. Just like, I love to read. I just don't want to read the shit that they assigned you in school. You know? I like to learn. It is all about learning. But, I don't want to read Oliver Twist or, you know, Jane Eyre or any of that crap. I've never read any of that stuff. And never going to. Damn it! Geography explains history. Yeah, geography's friggin' awesome. Geography is awesome. Without geography, you can't know history. That's right. You just, like, where's this? Or, where's that? So between my dad, who was big into history, even though that's not what he did for a living, that was kind of his side gig, and having coffee table books and eating cereal at the table, right? Because you'd eat cereal and you'd get your coffee table books and you'd look through battleships or whatever it is. You're picking stuff up. And then you see that again, like, yeah, I know that part. Well, I can fill in the blanks here. I never had a problem with dates and things like that. But, and then, oh, you get to war game this stuff? Oh, so you like to get to participate? I'm like, oh yeah, sign me up. So when we were in Spain and in London, but specifically in Spain, I let my daughter take over. She'd find things on Google Earth. Let's go to this place. Find it on the map. All right, you take us there. Now, I'm not a big fan of walking around or driving, especially walking around, with the map telling you which way to go because it takes a while for it to correct. So sometimes, you got to orient yourself and it's like it has you in a place that you really aren't until you start moving. But I let her handle it and she did a good job because that's a really good life skill. And she seems to like it. She'll be the one girl who'll be telling her boyfriend which way to go. No, you don't want to turn that way. Maybe that's not a good thing, but hey, maybe he should be better at it. All right, we're going to put a Balkenkreuz here underneath these numbers. Let's start with some gray. All right, we're going to want the center of it there. And likewise, we're going to want the center of this one there. Now we'll take the turret off. And probably go to something that's a little thinner, a little bit more delicate to work with. How you doing this morning, Jeffrey? Yeah, these spots are really, really small. I don't know that they make decals of this size. Maybe 15 millimeter ones. Okay, that's about what we're going to do, and then we'll have to tinker with it. Meaning we'll put the black in the center, and then we'll have to fudge around with it. Long live the liners. Okay, I don't see there's a space to put one on the back. This one won't have one on the back. leave this open. We're going to need this shortly. Now, I'm not a huge proponent of craft paint, but for stuff like this, man, I'm a big fan of the black and white. When it was difficult to get a hold of, when I didn't have a local place that had the Vallejo paint, what I would do is, when I ran out of black and white, which are the colors I use more than anything else, I just started using the craft ones and mixing them in. I mean, because these things they're almost too cheap. I mean, this is like less than $1.50. That's like, and it's made here, so it's not like, oh, we can't make cheap things here and inexpensive things here in the United States. Yeah, you can. That's one of them. Busy day writing and upgrading photos on eBay listings. You do a lot of trading on eBay? I can't wait to go back to another model show. There was things that were priced to move there. Except one guy. One guy had a bunch of books that were like $120. I don't give a shit what it is. People don't go to a model show to buy a $120 book. I went to the place that had the $2 books. Speaking of Scotland, what'd you think of old? When I was in Europe, there was a series of videos that I saw that I think it was like 6 or 7 series of really short, a long commercial or a really short movie. I don't know, like 5 minutes long or something like that, of Harrison Ford, like trying to push the Scotch. Is it Glenmorangie? I'm like, really? Why are you getting an American actor to push that? And I'm a fan of Harrison Ford in the roles that he's famous for, but he's like an old dick, He's like, I mean, we liked his attitude when he was in his 30s and his 40s, but as an old man, he's just like a grumpy bastard. It's like, just go back on your rocking chair, man. What would you get an American actor to sell Scottish whiskey? Come on, man. Sable and excess DBA armies. You still playing DBA? You still dabble in it? All right, that's where we're going to have to start, and then we'll have to tinker with it. Yeah, why is Harrison Ford selling that? I want to say I've had it before. Must have been probably on a cruise. Japanese did it for Suntory whiskey with Bill Murray. Grumpiness must sell. I didn't know that. Suntory's not bad for a blended, but I like most things. I find I don't like. I've never liked Bill Murray. He's just a little. He's just a little too sarcastic. Suntory, or is it Hibiki? I've I've one of those. That doesn't look half bad. That doesn't look half bad. I like it when you can do it and it doesn't require any cleanup. I don't mind cleaning it up, but it's just like it's one less step. Yeah, I don't know why advertisers choose certain things. Like I don't ever want to have Geico insurance just based on their commercials being so unfunny. I mean, they're not even stupid. Stupid's okay. I'm okay with stupid commercials. They're just unfunny. They're like unfinished. They're like SNL bits that go on way too long that should never been made, or at least they don't appeal to me. I didn't watch. It used to be I'd watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. I don't watch the Super Bowl for the commercials. I don't even watch the commercials. And then it was like, oh, now you don't even have to watch the Super Bowl. You could just watch a video on YouTube about the best commercials. I don't even watch those anymore because commercials just aren't funny anymore. The best commercials used to be like Doritos. Doritos used to have the best freaking commercials. I didn't buy any Doritos, but the commercials were great. DBA is still in the locker as a pickup game. I'm transitioning, aren't we all, to Mortem et Gloriam Pacto, which allows me to use armies that I had for Big Battle DBA, Iberian Spanish, and Spartan already usable. I don't even watch sports. So it's just you and me then. I'd watch sports. They just don't televise the right sports, like, women's pole vaulting. That'd be like, do you play war games? No, I just watch other people play them. Okay. Jeffrey, if I wanted to play Mortimet Gloriam Pacto, is there a play by play like I the year the last year I went to Historicon to run DBA that nobody showed up for, or very few people showed up for. The author Simon, can't remember what his last name is, was there at Historicon running demos of his Mortem et Gloriam games. And I don't think he had a very good showing. I think the only people that were playing that year of any amount, Ancients, was the guys that were playing the French rules, which are way too big of a game, and honestly, just seemed like a ripoff of Phil Barker's work. But regardless, I'm not there for that. But he was running demos of Mortem et Gloriam. I've seen what it involves, and it looks pretty darn interesting. There's a lot of stuff to think about. And yeah, Pacto would be the thing to play. Like I've got, what's the Italian one? And I've looked at it. I bought it. I printed the whole damn thing out. The Daddy and Piombo one. I just don't know where to start. And I don't mind playing some other stuff. I just don't want to be the go-to guy on it. Like I don't know the answer. All right, let's ask Tony. I'm like, no, I'm stuck over here in the Second World War, pal. You don't watch TV. You're not missing anything. TV sucks, yep. I'll only watch the Super Bowl when the Bears are in it these days. I'm of an age when staying up till 4 a.m. to watch a sports event are gone. Yep. That's why we used to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch Formula One. And then we'd play it on the video game. But 6 a.m. is nothing crazy. That's why I'm so productive now with my hobby, although YouTube is trouble with how content finds you. Isn't that the truth? There are a few starter videos on Mortem et Gloriam's site. There's lots of choices to make each turn. Alright guys, time to make the donuts. Was he the same guy that did the Micro Machine commercials? That spoke like a million miles an hour? Or just another short little mustachioed dude in both of them? I think that's the case. Alright, it's time for the drippings. Oh man. No, I'm not leaving yet. Although it is yak shaving day. So I need a little bit more time. Simon, I don't know what his last name is. Yeah, he was running those games. I saw him on the schedule. I'm like, and that's how I learn. Like, give me hands on, let me play with it a little bit, and then I've got like a base to build from, not just reading about things in theory. Wendy's commercials. Where's the beef? The Miller Lite commercials with the girls. Yeah, those are the best ones. Hi. Come on. Don't be there. You're running interference for me. Oh, and this is way too nice of a brush to be using for this. You can take one step down. All right. Where do we start? Where do we start on this? Let's start with here. was the name of that guy? Terry Tate, office linebacker. That's a great commercial. Is that what his name was? It was definitely office linebacker. That's a great commercial. Terry Tate, office linebacker. I don't even know what product they were pushing. Marcus does not have a YouTube channel, or if he does, he hasn't shared it with me. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get very far here, unfortunately. But that's okay. We should have this little guy done today. Doing a vehicle every other day is still pretty damn good numbers. At least paint both of these sides so they're equal in the amount of stuff that's on them. I've been really happy with this product. They call them washes. I almost call them like little, I don't know if I call them a wash. Pre-made little tones. They just add some extra different colors variations there of things, discoloration, so that it's not like it's uniform one thing. Like if some of these vehicles that I got that were pre-paints, they're like literally all, not this one, but the Panzer 3Ls that I have a ton of. They were all like the same color, like uniform dark yellow. They were for painted as a tank for Tunisia. And they're all exactly like overall one color. Like that just doesn't cut it. Doesn't look very interesting, you know? Okay, man, have a good day at work. I'm gonna go there myself. Except I'd love to keep going. And this is where we'll pick up tonight. All right, folks. Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys later this evening. Bye bye.